live, maybe, only very slightly late. I had a fun thing when I started my streaming software today where the screen was black, and it was because I had at some point, actually probably happened automatically when I updated, turned on hardware acceleration, and that doesn't work. Welcome to Live Coding with me, Rachel. I'm Rachel. We have been working for a while on a assistant that will do basically the same thing as the New York Times dialect quiz. School. There we go. Which was very popular in 2013, and basically it asks you a bunch of questions, you answer the questions, and then it says, hey, we think this is where you are. Ooh, sorry, a little bit peaky. Let me adjust that. We think this is where in the U.S. you are most likely to be from. And last Wednesday, I almost said last week because I can't no longer consider the effects of time passing. Last week, this week on Wednesday, 2 days ago, wowie, we got our assistant working all the way through. So basically what it will do is you answer a bunch of questions, it runs a dialect classifier based on your answers, and it gives you, the results of the classifier. And that was all well and good, and it worked, but the results of the classifier were, to be frank, nonsense. We got absolute unreasonable answers out. So I have a little bit of an advantage here in that I have a PhD in the subject that we're building the classifier about, which is why I wanted to build it. And what we ran into was, I think, a problem with our data preparation, basically. So, to show you what I mean by that, we have in here, here we go, this file questions with text that we made on stream, and what it does is it takes the original questions that we had, which are they in here actually? We're gonna need to figure out where those original questions are, because this is the classifier that we have saved as a binary. This is the encoder information that we've saved as a binary, not pickled. There we go. This is the original data set, big data copy, excuse me. And the information in the original data set is the participant ID, the city that they're from, the state that they're from, okay. Yes, I think I will allow please don't go to green screen. Okay, excellent. It's been a great morning, very exciting, lots of things happening. Oh, happy May Day, by the way. I am still working because it's not a holiday in the US, but I'll probably, do some labor organizing or something to celebrate. And then we have questions, and the squeech. So the original quiz had 122 questions. We are only using 18 of them, and one of the things I want to do today is make sure that we're actually using 19 of them, because we're asking 19 questions, we just don't use the information from one of them. And these are referred to using this Q001, Q002, Q003 thing. Thank you, Jacob. To you as well. Cheers. Ooh. Is this... my husband very sweetly made me coffee today, and I don't think he realized that there is green in this mug. So it looks like it has holes in it. It doesn't. It's a perfectly fine mug. This one was a gift from my parents, since people ask about the mugs. So what we did was we went through and we got we created by hand this question key here that has the text of the question. It has the key of the question so that we can refer to it, and then it has, from the archival version of the original data collection survey, the answers to the quiz in the order that they were originally presented. And my assumption was that, and actually while we are here, I'm just really quickly going to fix this, because this is what we had a problem with last time, was that there was a space in the feature that was not in the get rid of you, that was not in the original thing. Okay, excellent, we should be good there. Robbie says, we're on holiday due to Corona since 1 month. Yeah, we've been I'm still working because I work from home usually anyway. But I think we're coming up on 2 months now. And we've been just sort of chilling at home. Yes. So my assumption starting out was that the numbers here referred to the index of the question, right? So the index of the answer. So I was assuming that these were using the same order as we saw here in the original quiz. So 0 was this, 1 was this, 2 was this, 3 was this, etc., etc. And I went ahead with that hypothesis. And based on the fact that our classifier is giving us just random answers, basically, I don't think that's right. I think we've done something horribly wrong. Additional evidence that I have done a bad job is... So this question is, what do you call a group of 2 or more people, like are blank ready to go? I'd say y'all. I might say you guys in some situation. I might say you. And we have this answer, use, Y-O-U-S, which I'm not actually super familiar with. I'm looking it up real quick. New Jersey, it looks like. So definitely not the South, which is where, if you're not super familiar with US, the South refers to sort of like the southeast quarter. And before we did even more colonialism than we'd already been doing, it was sort of like the North and the South was the division of the United States, and now we have the West as well. Those are sort of the big geographical areas, and the West is everything west of the Rockies. Not that important. But Tennessee, Texas, Alabama, Wisconsin, for some reason, patterns with these other peoples. See some other ones. Ohio, I don't know where in Ohio Akron is. You do get some southern features up in the middle of Ohio. Definitely Kentucky, Missouri, questionably whether or not it's the South. It depends on who you talk to in the state. It was very divided in historical points in time. These folks probably aren't saying yous, which is a marker of New Jersey. They're probably saying y'all, like I would. And we have probably done this decoding incorrectly. So, what's the correct encoding? Good Ideas Code says, interesting. I don't know if that was about the quick geography lesson. And I'm just going to double check. Ooh. I emailed the person that I originally got the information from, and he said he had a cleaner version of the original data plus ancillary files to provide the questions. Would it be helpful for me to send those to you? And I have not got those files yet. So I'm going to see if we can try and figure this out using our brains and statistics. Good Ideas Co. says, machine learning is way over my head, but I could definitely make a data viz of this. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so things that I'm thinking about. So the first thing that I thought about was we were assuming that these were in the same order. it's possible that other is always 0, right? And that everything else is keyed from 1. So right now, this person from Kentucky, we're saying they say use, which I think is probably wrong. It could be you all, so it could be bumped that direction 1, in which case, Interesting. I feel like for most of these, other is the last option, right? Yeah, not for that first one, though. And what about the same or different? So one of the questions is, do you say caught and caught the same or different? And that one doesn't have an other either. So that has 1 and 2. So let's look at this Q28 and see if we can figure out something there. The Good Idea Co says, I don't want to interrupt, but when you can you explain what your idea is? So basically, we have a bunch of numbers for our answers here. I need to get them into text so that when someone's using the assistant, they're going to respond with text, not a number. And even if they were responding with a number, we don't know which answer this corresponds to, right? So this is the raw data. I need to figure out how to get it into human readable format and then retrain my classifier using that is the basic idea. This is wrong. This file, the answers that the different individual users are giving here is incorrect. They are rotated in some way. And as a result, any other user that goes through and gives the same answers is going to have a problem too. Okay, and I am seeing here that this second question, which is Q28, which should be whether you say caught and caught the same. I don't have, that's called the low back merger. It's 2 vowels that for Southerners are different, and some people up along the eastern seaboard, but like in California and the West Coast are completely merged. Why are there 3 options there? Because there's only 2 answers. So, things we could do. Honestly, data visualization is probably not a bad idea at this point. Because, I don't have a Dare subscription though. So what I was thinking was that what we could do is we could look at the relative frequency of each of the answers and then compare that to the relative frequency of answers from a larger normative study. So I was going to look at the Dictionary of American Regional English. Dictionary of American Regional English. Here we go. That's the one. And this was a large-scale study that I don't know how long it was going for. I want to say it was either 70 years or it started in the 70s. It's one of those two. I'm like 20% certain. So as you can see, I have a great deal of knowledge about this. Okay, it was done in the 70s. Gotcha. And then they just finished like publishing the dictionary and doing all the data analysis like a couple years ago. And I don't think I have a subscription to the dictionary anymore. So if I search for like use, yep, that's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, I don't have a subscription. So I can't use this for normative data. So that is a problem. The Good Idea says, is this data set on Kaggle or anything? It is not. So I don't actually have permission to share the raw data. I do have permission to share the project that the data is based on. So that's as long as it's open source, which it is. It's Apache 2.0. I'm fairly certain that I did my licensing correctly there. Yeah, so unfortunately I also can't just like ask for community help, because I know that there's lots of super smart people out there who would be willing to help with this. Okay, first let's do a thing that I know we can accomplish, which is to fix our data key. So this file we have here, and we should have actually, yeah, don't save, because we're going to do a new version. So this is a different directory where we actually have our assistant. And I have a different version of that question key here. And the difference here is that for each question, we also have the name of the slot. So the way that the assistant is working is it's asking a bunch of questions. You answer the question. Your answer is taken and matched to the closest multiple choice of all the multiple choices using fuzzy matching. And if it doesn't match any of them super close, then you are marked as having said other for that question. So this allows people to have free-form responses that will still work with a classifier that was trained on a multiple choice quiz. And this is the name of basically the variable name that we're using to refer to whatever it is that the user has provided as the answer to this question. And we also need to add the last question, which is about pill bugs, or roly-polies, or wood lice, or potato bugs, or sow bugs, or there's a couple others that I don't remember. And I need to go through and add that, because right now we're asking questions about it. We're just not using the data in any way. So I'm going to need to retrain the classifier once we figured out all of this data stuff. I'm going to need to go back and retrain the classifier to get it working again. All right. So let's do that now, because we're definitely going to have to do that. And if I do get the data and the key, then we might not actually have to go back and do a whole bunch of it. But I think data visualization is not a bad way to go for this, to figure it out. First of all, what are my... It should be in... Nope. Domain. There you go. What is my... bug is what this slot is called. So let's add that. And then, bug. And then the question that we asked, and let's actually, oh no, I figured out another place where we might have a problem. So it's also possible that we might have a problem in the, let me pull up the Harvard Dialect Survey. So what we did to get the questions that we needed to ask, because in the original data that we were given, we just had the key, like that little way of Dialect Survey results. Is it this one? Yeah, there we go. All right, so let's make this big. Oh, I guess this is what we can use as the normative data, huh? Okay, problem with not having a Dare subscription, I think, is solved. Jacob said, what's the classifier? I used an XGBoost classifier, and it had the best results. And I'm evaluating it using top n, where n is 3. So we want the correct answer here being city and state, where the city-state combination has more than 15 responses in the original survey data. I think there's around 14,000 responses, so that's not super unreasonable. And yeah, it was not great. I would say the classifier accuracy in general, but you know, could be worse. All right. So what we're looking for is crustacean, pill bug. Let's see if we can find insect, maybe. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here are our answers. Here's the question text. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste this over into here. So this is what we did originally, and I'm almost certain this is where we have introduced problems, and this was Q074, I believe. Make sure. 74, yep, pretty sure. Q074, and I know that because it is the 74th question in this dialect survey. And then here were the answers. That is fewer respondents. Oh. I bet 0 is missing data. I bet 0 is missing data. That makes my life harder. Okay. Okay, so remember when I said that caught and caught the same or different had 3 responses, even though had 3 numbers that it was assigned to, even though there were only 2 responses? I believe, again, we have like something like 14,000 responses here, and this one only has 10,000 respondents in the original survey, which is kind of a problem for us because it means that we have more survey respondents than we have responses, which means we have missing data. And none of the values in, we're in the wrong directory now, but none of the values in the original data set are like NA or missing. So I bet that's what that 0 means. I bet the 0 means beans. All right. Well, okay, so we'll see if that works, I guess. We also need the responses. So here they are, and can I do find and replace with regex here? Is that what that means? Replace, regular expressions, that is what I want. Oh, it's a toggle. It's just very slightly different blue from the gray background. I don't know if anyone from Visual Studio is watching, but that's not great UX. If I had a vision impairment, I would not know about that. Oh, I don't know, maybe their screen reader support is really good. Microsoft is usually pretty good about accessibility stuff, so. All right, so what are we looking for? We are looking for A through N, and then a period, except I need to escape it. So is this gonna give me everybody? And then a space, yeah. And then I think I had a tab in front. Nope, all right. So let's get rid of all of those. Make sure real quick it's not getting anybody else. Nope, it's not, okay. Goodbye. All right, and then we had, gotta escape these. And then we had these, and then in the middle we had, actually, can I do a dot star? Is that gonna work? No. All right. What's the shortcut for numeric? Also, am I going to spend more time on this than I would just doing it by hand? Yes, probably at this point. Okay, so let's just do this by hand. And the way that we did these is, so this one is definitely going to have double quotes around it because you can see that there is a comma in one of the answers. And then between responses, we had, what do you call that? A semicolon. Ah, shoot. I don't want 2 of you. Go away. No, thank you. How do I make this one go away? There we go. Okay. Morning's going. Actually, the morning's not going awful. I'm just a little bit out of it. All right. bug. And I'm just going to start a new one just for my being able to see everything at the same time. And right now this class is not being used by our classifier, but that's okay because we're going to have to retrain it because we are definitely going to have to re-encode all of our data. I don't know, maybe we'll spend some time working with different classifiers. So we tried what did we try? We tried excellent. So we tried two types of classifiers. We tried k-nearest neighbor, and we also tried XGBoost, and XGBoost worked a little bit better, so we ended up going with that in the end. And we also used soft prob and then top 3 for the classifier for those of you who have more specific questions. All right, there we go. So we've added our last I'm going to take out this bit because I don't think it matters super much. We are using the key, the question key, and the slot name to refer to these questions, not the exact text of the question. So I think we should be good there. All right. And I'm going to copy you, and we're going to move it into our other directory where we're doing our model training. Alan said, I'd probably have sunk an hour trying to write that regex. Good catch. Yeah, if I were doing, more than 6, I probably would have. All right, and then we're just going to paste. All right, and then you're going away. Goodbye. Forever. Yes. And don't worry, I'm version controlling this so I can get that file back in the original format if I really need it, but I don't think I want it actually, on account of the 2 errors that it had, which was one, having a leading white space for one of the answers, and the second one, which was missing a class. So now we are actually going to use all of the classes in our classifier that we spend time asking our human participants against. Holy mug. So, some things I'm thinking about right now. We have this missing data problem. We did not know that we had a missing data problem. I could have noticed that at any time while I was doing data preparation, and yet I did not because there was a number, so I assumed the number meant something. I think it does mean something. I think the thing that it means is whoopsie. Because it's a very long quiz, and I believe that you sort of did a random sort of questions, and if you finished that, you were asked if you wanted to do more, and you could. But again, it's 122 questions in the full quiz, which is too many. So let's, God, I don't want to deal with a full file. And wow, I don't want to do this in Python. Can I start an R notebook? Maybe. What happens if I try to do a visualization here? Will this run just my selection, or will it? Nope, it won't do nothing. All right, so I couldn't run that line from line, which is what I want to do. All right, don't save that. Christian says, the only good thing of quarantine is being able to see live coding on working hours. Oh, yeah, it is kind of nice. It's like sitting next to a very talkative colleague. God, can you imagine if you were sitting in an office and someone was just live coding next to you? I think that would be extremely distracting. Live coding and also talking through all of their thoughts. Unless you're doing pair programming, in which case I think that would be normal. All right, fine. I'll do data visualization in Python, which is my least favorite thing. There we go. All right. Why don't you like data visualization in Python, Rachel? Because I'm used to R, which is like the Cadillac of data visualization. And Matplotlib, extremely helpful, useful library. I'm glad it exists. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'll use Altair and make Jake happy. First thing I need to do is import pandas as PD. And let's see if I can even just like read this into memory in a helpful way. Let's call this raw data. I'm gonna use snake case because I'm not a monster. If you use camel case, I don't think you're a monster. Oh wait, and it's our current, and it's just big data. That's the one. Oh, okay, that was much better than I expected it to be. Great, okay. So we only care about some of the questions, and the questions that we care about are the ones that we talk about in our question key. So let's read that in. And this will also tell me if I have made a bad mistake with my file thing. Robbie says, why are you obsessed with R? Python will win the game now. Python won the game. Meh. Believe me, plenty of people still use R in production even, and there are things about the tool that I really like. And I'm a big believer in right tool for the job. John had a question about changelogs. Alan says we use a library called Town Crier, and it's awesome. Jacob says, what's the name of the plugin you're using to edit the Jupyter file? So this is a IPython notebook that I'm just using in VS Code, and they actually added native support, but I think you need the dev version of the Python plugin. It was a while ago when I installed it, and I remember it being a bit finicky. Let's see, what was it called? Question key? That's the one. All right. So, All right, so now I need to mess around with pandas. Again, very happy pandas exists. It's a good library. It makes working in Python much better, but I'm used to my beautiful ecosystem with like lots of usability features, and pandas is just not quite as fully featured. All right, so what do I need right now? I need city and state. I want to filter by column names. So I'm just gonna Google how to do that really quick. Pandas filter by column names. Yeah, list comprehend. I'll pull this over so you can see what I'm mumbling about. List comprehension. Iterates over list. Okay, it's dot filter. All right, and then I want to filter based on the, oh, is that gonna work? So then I want to filter on the values in question key dot, what is it called? The column that I want, question number. I don't think this is gonna work, but it might. It'll be great, huh? Yeah, okay, so that did not work. Am I gonna have to use list comprehension? Probably. Okay, so this is the list of questions that I'm interested in, and there are 20 of them. Shouldn't there be 19 of them? Maybe I've been saying 19 so long that I have forgotten. Maybe 19 is the number that we had and now we have 20? Okay. Regardless, we want to filter based on that. Does list comprehension work go for series? I don't know off the top of my head, but we're gonna find out. All right, let's try this. So I've just copied and pasted from the Stack Overflow their example of a list comprehension. Actually, I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller, and I'm gonna move me. Nope, not you. Okay, well, I can't move myself, so we'll just deal with that, and I guess pop this back out so I'm not covering anything. Raw data is the name of our data frame. If we want to know if the column is in question key question number, I think that's right. Let's call this target columns instead. Okay, so this should get us a list of columns that are just the ones that we want. So there should be 20 of these. That didn't work. Name target is not defined. Okay, so what is this doing? Oh. So first of all, we're just printing out random things. So that does nothing. No, we already have the exact name of the columns we want. We don't need to do anything fancy with it. So, invalid syntax. Yes, I see how that could be. Is this going to work like percentage sign in? It is absolutely not. All right, what's in raw data columns? Leading white spaces. Okay, so that's a problem. Okay. What is the Python equivalent of janitor? Am I frustrated enough that I want to switch to R? We got 20 minutes. No, I'm going to plug through. I'm going to do this in Python, and I'm going to complain about it the whole time. This would be literally 3 lines of R code. No, I'm going to do it in pandas. Mainly because I don't want to spool up a different IDE. That's it. That's the reason. Okay. All right. Python clean column names. So right now we do have a list of the column names that we need in the column question. I don't know, one of the question columns in question key. The problem is that it's not going to match anything because there's a variable amount of leading white space on the top of these column names, which is not what I want. Working with pandas, fix messy column names. That is exactly what I'm looking for. All right. All right, so this is doing a number of things. It's removing white space, which I think is the only thing I need to do. It's lowercasing, which I don't care about because my target variables, my target text I'm trying to match to is not lower space. The Q is capitalized. It's replacing spaces with underscores. Again, not interested in that. It's replacing parentheses with nothing. And then, yeah, okay, so replacing both left and right parentheses with nothing. So don't care about any of that. I just need to strip the white spaces off, and that will be a fix. All right. Oh, that's the top highlight in this Medium article. Wonder why. So what are we doing? I realize that the namespace conventions in Python are better for large projects and object-oriented programming, but there's no end to that sentence. All right, so, and then I need to do raw data dot columns, which is where the column names are stored. Yes, all right. What the numbers mean in terms of words that humans said. Robbie says, object-oriented programming is over